I'm not trying to get people to be like me. That's not what I've been trying to do for all these years. I think that's, I don't know. I mean, I think people who are in a mindset which is being controlled, or at least very strongly influenced by just power, and the idea that just power is the most important thing. I think sometimes they don't know how to respect a generally good value system while also being themselves. That's the thing. That's why you will tend to see a lot of people really behaving in the exact same way, look in the same way, talk in the same way, adhering to exactly the same types of things in situations that are bad, right? And the more bad a situation is, the worse a situation is, the more you're going to have that kind of serious pressure to conform all the time to all of the expectations of what you're allowed to think and what you're allowed to think about. There's a really good quote about this. There's a really good quote, I think it's actually from C.S. Lewis, who's a writer I read some of his books a long time ago. Of course, I read the fiction books when I was little, and then I read some of his books about theology when I was in my 20s. And he said a lot of really important things. I can't remember which book it was, but he said something about how all dictators end up being the same, and all saints tend to be just totally different from each other, right? Because the point of it all is that you have this basic value system, which is about respect for yourself, respect for other people, not being cruel, not being vindictive, letting people live their lives, that kind of thing. And the conglomerate has really, really screwed with people's minds a lot. I know I should probably find a more formal way to say that, but it's really true. And it has tried to make people think that freedom has to do with certain people being able to push other people around. Basically, that's what the conglomerate has done. You know, I mean, basically what the conglomerate has done is said, men are the dominant group, everybody else has to do what they say, anyone can rape children, most people can rape women, and that's all there is to it. Really, and has tried to present, and really sickeningly, has tried to present everything that it has done to destroy human rights and civil rights as some sort of advancement for human rights and civil rights. It's sickening is a good word for it, because that's really what it is. But as far as like trying to make other people be like I am, I'm not doing that. Being young is, people don't talk about how difficult it is enough, to be honest. You know, people there's so much emphasis on the idea that being young is the only good thing to be. You know, and people don't talk about actually how really difficult it is to try to figure out how to be an adult, how to deal with all the things that life throws at you. You know, and certainly there were many years of my life where I just kind of copied other people in one way or another, whether it was the way that they looked or the way that they talked or that kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, so various people, famous people, unfamous people. You try things out. No one can ever really be like an exact copy of somebody else. But that's also kind of how you can learn how to do certain things. And then once you learn those things, you can just kind of be yourself again, and you will have changed a little bit. But you're always going to kind of go back to being yourself. I mean, it really, but you do want to keep in mind that you're you. You know, you have your own personality. You have your own things that you like. There's other things like throughout your life that you're gonna realize that you like and that you don't like. You will change. The world will change, and other people are. It's good not to think of other people as being like characters in the movie of your life in which you're the central character, right? It's good not to think about people that way. It's also good not to think about other people as being the main character, and you're just kind of you're part of the supporting cast in that person's life. Like, you don't want to think about people that way either. But yeah, I mean, trying to get people to like be just like I am, I'm not interested in that at all. What I've tried to say throughout all of this is that, yeah, there's a basic value system, things that need to be cared about. You know, a democracy is not just about what most people think are all right. It also has to do with making sure that everyone has their rights protected. You know, particularly the people who can't fight for them themselves. You know, children especially. And that's really gone by the wayside amidst all of this. And it just couldn't be worse. Really couldn't be worse. You know, the people that they're attacking, children, poor people, women who have always been either totally dominated by men or trying to make things more equal, and just year after frustrating year, all sorts of people. And it just couldn't be more awful. I don't know how it could be more awful. And then just the attitude about it all, like it's all this fun, cute thing. It's so coercive. It's so coercive, and couldn't be more awful. That's really sickening.